A day like a trailer for hell begins. While everyone's chasing their damn daily routines, the city's turned into a total madhouse. While people pack into buses like sardines in a tin, students crush each other in a struggle for survival. Right in the middle of the chaos, the bus pulls up like it's vomiting at a university gate, and a young man bursts out. His face shows the weariness of a war veteran. He's questioning that pure freshman energy, and how he endured all this madness. This weary hero's name is Sung-Woo. He's the main character of the story. Right then, his buddy Han-Ho makes her entrance on stage. Han-Ho grins and shoots back a remark after hearing Sung-Woo's whining. "Son, I thought you were special forces. You're defeated by a little traffic. Look at you." Will Sung-Woo stop? The answer hits like a slap. "Shut up, you haven't even been there once, you mama's boy." They head toward the classroom, play fighting like roosters. Right in the middle of a casual chat, Han-Ho suddenly stops dead and points a trembling finger at the sky. Look at that, a massive loading screen stuck at 99% right above them. But our blind main character can't see a thing, probably because he needs a stronger prescription. Suddenly he starts making fun. "What is it? Are you seeing visions of your ex in the sky?" But Han-Ho would bet his life he saw something there. Ours is acting like a stubborn mule. He thinks his friend's brain turned to mush from too much gaming and he's lost touch with reality. He keeps trolling him, saying plainly, "Son, you've lost your marbles, you're seeing things." And he gives his friend a slap on the neck to bring him back to the real world. He drops the subject, saying, "Go on, we'll be late for class, the teacher will kill us." The two split up and head to their classes. Sung-Woo is struggling to keep his eyes open in class, as if he's listening to a lullaby. They're full of regret, wishing they'd injected caffeine directly into their veins before class. But this wait isn't normal. Suddenly, a massive screen appears, searing his retinas. He's asking which class you choose to survive the apocalypse. Right below the question, that fate-deciding order shines. Choose your class. Sung-Woo's brain is blue screening. What is this bright light? Is he hallucinating? As you rub your eyes to see if you're dreaming, the universe turns the joke into a serious reality. Crack. The power is going out completely. Panic fills the classroom. Even though it's daylight outside, the inside is suddenly plunged into tomb-like darkness. Phones have turned into bricks. No electronics are working, and the scary part is everyone's looking at the same damn glowing screen. People are losing their minds. They're asking each other if this is a hologram, or if they've all lost their minds. But Sung-Woo realizes that things have changed. A deadly countdown and mysterious floating cards appear on the screen. As cards with strange pictures and stars dance in the air, the terrified students back away, thinking, "Let's not touch them, they might blow up." But Sung-Woo sees the situation differently. "If I don't choose now, I'll be dead in 15 seconds. He smells danger. Time is running out as the countdown ticks away like a fuse. Tick-tock, tick-tock. His eyes are locked on the cards. Panic-stricken, he doesn't know what to choose, but he knows all too well that waiting is a death sentence. Suddenly, a flash. Some brave or foolish soul from the class grabs one of the cards. And boom. A massive sword falls from the sky in front of the boy. And the card he chose vanishes into thin air. Ours is determined now. To survive in the middle of this apocalyptic circus, he has to find the ultimate class. Each card has stars on it, like ranks. With time running out, Sung-Woo quickly attacks the brightest one he can see. The one with the most stars grabs the card. And bingo, the Death Mage card, aka the Necromancer. Our brother has basically sworn to become Sung Jin-Woo. Seconds later, the selection ends and the screens vanish. The class seems back to normal, but that nerd is still holding that huge sword. Everyone's looking at him like a deer in headlights. The boy said in a shaky voice, "I chose the warrior class. It says this metal oil fell from the sky." But Sung-Woo thought to himself, "Damn, I'm a necromancer now, so where's my bone army?" He complains about not feeling anything, but then suddenly, a blood-curdling scream. One of the students is being shanked by a revolting little runt of a goblin. Blood's gushing out as he screams for help. No one can lift a finger. Everyone is frozen. The goblin cuts into the child with sadistic pleasure, deeper and deeper. It's a total bloodbath. As the creature turns its bloody eyes toward the others, the penny drops. We're the next dish on the menu. Everyone's running like chickens, but our boy is staying put. Not out of fear, but strategy. He knows if he moves, he'll catch that green bastard's attention. But the goblin is already frantic. Everyone's begging that sword-fighting cowboy. Come on, kid, show us what you've got. But ours refuses to fight, crying for his mommy. A total disappointment. Sung Woo figures it out. We're in trouble, it's up to us now. The goblin lunges at you, spitting saliva. First he bolts, but then he realizes. If I turn my back, he'll turn me into a kebab. Suddenly he turns around and lands a solid Ottoman kick right on the creature's face. The creature's getting tossed around because it's so small. Sung Woo grabs the first weapon he finds, a classroom chair, and goes on the attack. When the goblin attacks again, he smashes the chair over its head and crushes it like a disgusting bug. As green blood splatters around, that long-awaited notification sound is heard. He floored the goblin and pocketed the gold. Our guy is staring blankly at the screen, wondering if World War has lost its mind and turned into a fantasy RPG. Right then, another notification. The system announces that at level 1, you'll have the dead at your fingertips. The quota is limited to 3 goblins for now. While he tries to figure it out, the goblin he just killed stands up as a decayed warrior, as if to say, "Command me, boss." Sung Woo finally gets it. His class is the nightmare of mortals, the cursed Necromancer. As the zombie goblin looks at her with glowing eyes of love, 2 more goblins burst in. The students are in panic mode again, screaming at the top of their lungs. Our main character stands against the goblins with his loyal corpse by his side. Total. Watch me, losers. Energy. No need to overthink, dive in. He gives the order. The skeletal guard swings its rusty sword and starts turning the live goblins into mincemeat. But the monsters aren't just sitting idle, of course. In a 2-on-1 fight, one of the creatures rips our dead guy's left arm off. Ours is getting nervous thinking he'll have to take over if my skeleton falls apart. Monsters look like children, but they don't play, they're deadly. He needs a weapon urgently. Eyes on the nerd holding the sword, he singles him out and asks him to hand over the weapon. But the wimpy guy is clutching the sword, eyes rolling back, whining that he'll never give it up because it's his. Well, if that's the case, you go and fight. He says that, but the kid's about to wet himself from fear, so what's the point of him holding a sword? Actually, I should have thrown him to the goblins and stolen the sword. Anyway, he grabs a chair and hurls it at the monsters' heads. The skeleton soldier turns this assist into a goal and finishes them off with his sword. Clean work. Double up and bring in the gold. But what about that? The one-armed goblin walks toward her, with an expression both cute and nauseating on its face. Ours is quite uncomfortable with a rotten skeleton staring back at him so longingly and intensely. He orders him to look beyond. And the skeleton bows its head like some heartbroken teenager. Look at this one, though. Right then, the system goes, "Hey, you can control the dead, remember?" Poking around. Ours steps up his game and clears both of the fresh bodies off the ground. And here's the maximum army of the dead he can manage at his current level. A small but effective gang. While everyone wonders what's happening, screams from other parts of the school intensify the horror movie atmosphere. Ours realizes that this incident hasn't just turned the campus, but likely the entire country into hell. It's like Armageddon out there. The city is in flames. It's like the world is ending and we don't even know it. One student opens the door and says, "Let's run," while the other eggs them on, saying, "Run to the Daesung parking lot, you have a car." As everyone bolts for the stairs, a pack of goblins lunges from the shadows. Surprise! Just as the monsters are about to jump our guys, the skeletons step in, like, "Whoa there, buddy," and counter their ambush with an ambush of their own. Our protagonist yells, "Run, I'll handle this." Panic-stricken students scatter like a brood of chicks. They're scattering all over the school. Our guy tries to stop it, but then he says let them do whatever they want, it's better to be a lone wolf. The rules of this game are clear. There's only one way to survive. Fight, fight, and fight again. It's necessary to get stronger. He sits in the corner, enjoying watching his slaves fight for him. Just like a boss. But one of the monsters goes crazy and knocks our skeleton's head off. Now, this wasn't in the plans. When one of his soldiers fell, Sung Woo. Oh no, he's getting nervous, thinking we're in big trouble now. The remaining 2 skeletons charge at 2 monsters. Fortunately, Luck is on our side this time. Monsters die and the gold hits the account. And the moment we've been waiting for. Leveled up. He immediately opens the profile window to see what he won. Instead of stat points, a card appears that gives a random reward. It's a game of luck, you can't win without gambling. He picks a random ability card and bingo. The number of slaves he can control has increased by 1. It can now manage 4 million at the same time. He tries to summon a new skeleton, but finds his mana pool has run dry. He lines up the skeletons, creates a circle of protection, and kneels to think. He's still in shock over the whole thing. For now, focus on staying alive. Using the skeletons as human shields, they slowly start descending to the lower floors. It doesn't look safe down there, but he can't camp out here forever. He sends the dead ahead to scout. They run into Manhwa on the stairs. The kid loses his mind with fear when he sees the zombie goblins. And by reflex, he brings the dagger down on one of our people's heads. Sung-Woo yells, "What the hell are you doing?" His friend asks in surprise, "What are these?" Ours in a cool way as well. "They're my bodyguards, so relax," he said. Then she asks for the boy's grade. He says he chose the Kid Thief class. Complete idiot chose a trash 1-star class just because the name sounds cool. He thinks he's a general, but he's actually a total disaster. Even our skeletons look at this kid with pity. Yahoo! He joins the team, and they all head for the exit together. While walking, another notification catches our guy's eye. The system is giving our main character a huge boost. Group synergy effect is now active. However, all 5 daggers must be equipped to activate this power. This feature doesn't just grant extra gold. It also gives the enemy a chance to one-shot you. Ours realizes this upgrade was actually designed for parties. But there's something the system doesn't know. When the requirements are met, our Necromancer's skeleton army can also benefit from these buffs. So, even as a lone death machine, he'll still be able to exploit party buffs. As they slowly descend, they're confronted by a group of minions and their massive boss monster. The moment they lock eyes with the goblins, the system pops up a notification. The monsters smelled that sharp scent of death, and their stats dropped by 30% instantly. This debuff only triggers when 4 or more skeletons of the same type are roaming the field. Sung-Woo wastes no time driving the piles of bones into battle. The skeletons start flattening the goblins like a steamroller. But the real chaos starts with the boss monster. The creature raises its hand, channeling its berserker skill and riling up its minions. When the tide of war suddenly turns and enemies revive, our main character stays cool instead of panicking. That buff needs to be cleared immediately for their skeletons to have a chance at winning. Giving the one-armed skeleton a special order to ignore the trash and go straight for the boss's throat. The skeleton slices the monster's arm as it's thrown. Though the boss's kick sends it flying, the mission is accomplished. Now that they're buffed, our core crew is eating those goblins alive. The boss monster resists, as if proving it's no pushover, but its end is inevitable and it's brought down. Our main character is pocketing bonus gold again. Among the loot dropped from the boss's corpse are a spear and a bracelet. This bracelet is a great item that buffs nearby friendly units. After gathering the loot, his eyes catch the one-armed skeleton. The killing machine stands there like a puppy waiting for a good boy from its master. When Sung-Jin smiles and pets the skeleton's head, the pile of bones trembles with excitement. They decide to continue the journey with his friend. Hearing human voices as they walk, our main character orders the skeletons to hide. The goal is not to scare the poor people to death. There's a crowd of students gathered by the exit and some guy trying to calm them down. This guy claiming he's in touch with the student council is just trying to fool everyone. It looks like the university's main gate is locked, and no matter what they do, they can't step outside. Our guy recognizes this fellow immediately. His name is Jin-Suk. He's a bully and a total creep who harasses women. Just because he's on the student council, he acts like he's the king of the place. Our protagonist realizes this showman is acting as a leader just to feed his ego. With a heroic flair, he tells our duo to turn back and join the others to protect the students. When he saw their weapons, he asked their class and bragged about killing just one goblin. While ours looks at this poor soul with pity. A nerdy student with a sword arrives out of breath, reporting that they heard goblin noises on the stairs. The person who will be council head is sending everyone to hide in the cafe. Supposedly, they're going to hold the front. Meanwhile, Sung-Woo nudges his friend and points to that ominous message on the door. It says the door will never open unless the boss is defeated within a certain time. Plus, the boss gets even stronger the longer you wait. If time runs out, the boss will surely become invincible. Our protagonist realizes he can't rely on this pack of cowards. If they want to get out of here alive, they must take that boss's head themselves. Right then, Jin-Suk introduces him to that nerd and starts barking orders at them to catch the goblins. He's asking if you saw that deadly message on the door. The guy saw the message, but he still thinks a rescue team or the army is gonna swoop in like a prince on a white horse and save them. Our main character knows that sitting around doing nothing means death. Backing toward the stairs, he sees a swarm of goblins rushing toward them. The nerd is about to have a heart attack seeing the goblins. Right then, hidden skeleton minions appear, and the place turns into total chaos. Ours orders the skeletons to stop and explains they're all under his control. He yells it to the council president's face that he's a fool and sends the skeletons to attack. With synergy buffs and the scent of death, the monsters don't stand a chance. It's a total massacre. Students staring fearfully from the cafe windows watch as Sung mows down the skeleton army's minions. Ours joins the fray and starts hunting down goblins one by one with his spear. Planning to escape at the first chance, Jin-Suk watches this scene in awe. As the goblins try to flee, our protagonist orders the skeletons to block the stairs. Because he needs to convince everyone. To take down that boss, he must prove he can control these skeletons. His bracelet activates the feral spirit buff, instantly multiplying the minion's speed. These little goblins are just fodder for now, but tougher enemies are definitely coming later. The students are starting to realize that the quiet kid is the one pulling the strings. As his army clears the small goblins, the previous fear turns into cheers. The operation to gain trust is being successfully completed. Our main character is looting corpses when he gets a strange notification that he's won a system roulette ticket. Our guy's wondering where he'll put the reward if he has no inventory. Anyway, the team is heading back to the cube shop, back to the group. When ours sees that loser who claimed there's no such breed, he grins mischievously and asks if it's working. The room suddenly falls as silent as a funeral home. Not a peep from anyone. The main character sets off the bomb. The door's a dead end, there's no way out. The only way is to finish off that damn boss. And that freak is somewhere inside this building. People turn pale when they hear this. Of course, nobody wants to dance with that monster. Our guy is giving a warning. If you chicken out and run now, the consequences will be severe. The creatures you'll face later will make you miss these. Suddenly, one of the students raises their finger and admits to seeing that disgusting creature. Turns out the gray beast was upstairs living it up in the attic. Sungfew knows he has to go up to the roof. He's looking for a sidekick, but it's no use. As expected, they're all cowering like chickens shivering in fear. Even his buddy is trying to slip away, but our guy is dragging him along just to buff his skeletons. While the two are mid-heated argument, a girl named Jisoo jumps right in. He says crowding a tight space would be foolish, as his bone army is already enough. There's no point in carrying those who are even weaker than a pile of bones. He's thinking to himself, is this girl a bit too feisty or what? They still have zero info on the boss. Eyes then turn back to that coward named Jin-Suk. But the guy's shaking like a leaf, rambling about staying behind to protect the students. So, realizing these losers are hopeless, ours decides to climb to the top with the existing team. As they go up the stairs, an army of goblins appears. These green dwarves are surrounding us from both above and below. Jisoo dives into the goblins like a kamikaze without hesitation, turning them all into mincemeat. The longsword in his hand is a total killing machine. Hanu's training is obvious. He's watching the girl with his mouth wide open. Our boy finishes cleaning upstairs and gets the skeleton army in order. They're setting off again. After climbing a few more stairs, they find the teacher covered in blood. Our guy immediately asks what happened to the man. The poor guy says he took the students to the roof to protect them when the campus was attacked. But what a big mistake. That horrible creature on the roof hunted down all the students and brutally slaughtered them one by one. The teacher grabs his collar with his last bit of strength and begs. Don't go there, you'll die too. Our guy grabs his spear and stands up. New mission received from the system. Kill the boss, get your revenge. Fate depends on this choice, son. Knowing this is the turning point of the game, our character gathers the core crew and marches upward. The notification sounds as soon as I step onto the roof. Welcome to the boss's office. But the view is a total disaster. It's a bloodbath everywhere. Not a single soul is left of those poor students. Only the boss's suck-ups are hanging around. When Jisra sees this atrocity, he goes mad and tries to attack. But Sunku takes her and says, "Calm down, champ. If they want to survive this hell, they must act with logic, not anger." Before long, the goblins pick up the scent. They're grabbing their weapons and sneaking around our people. Hanno, should we run for it? He's in the mood, but our guy doesn't back down. He raises his hand and activates the madness spell. Fueled by that gas, the skeletons pounce on those little creatures and turn the place into a chopping block. Ours is shouting to use dead soldiers as shields, hiding behind a minion, and picking off goblins whenever he gets the chance. While Jisra dances with his sword, Hanho's just standing there like an idiot, totally clueless. When he feels useless, he just throws one of his daggers at random goblins. And bam, the dagger hit home, 1 shot, 1 kill. Even our guy is shocked, like, "Whoa, what did I just do?" Turns out our guy reached legendary aim just by tossing people's pens in the trash back in college. He's swinging another one right away. Another bullseye. My man literally discovered his hidden talent, and is getting hyped. As enemy goblins start pouring in, a stat-lowering curse falls upon them. They flee in terror and hide behind a massive goblin. The team catches on instantly. And here's the final boss, Bothersman. When the boss hits the stage, those cowardly goblins suddenly get hit with a burst of insane courage. They dive back into battle, but what is that? The boss shatters one of the skeletons with a single blow. Ours is panicking, fall back. He's giving orders, but the boss keeps smashing the bone bags one by one. He may be raising the dead, but his energy is fading. This can't go on forever. Hanho sneaks in for a backstab, but the boss doesn't buy it, and swats the attack away like a fly. Furious with rage, the beast chases after Hanho. While ours is screaming for help, the minions are trying to step in. While the boss beast swats the bone piles like flies, one stray bag of bones manages to land a sneaky hit. This insolence infuriates the boss, who wipes the poor minion off the field in a burst of rage. In that chaos, the sword girl bursts onto the stage and swings her blade. The damage is solid, but unfortunately not enough to take down this massive mountain of flesh. Our genius Necromancer instantly analyzes the situation and launches his sneaky plan, surrounding the boss with his bone army. He orders a treacherous attack from behind. When the boss turns back to defend, Sung Woo throws the spear in his hand like a bullet. Direct hit. The monster howls in pain as the spear explodes in its face. But our boy's mana hit rock bottom, only 3 skeletons left standing. The monster figures it out, laughs in a victory frenzy, and swings its sword with lethal speed. With his defense shattered, Sung Woo racks his brain against this charging killing machine, or he's a dead man. Just as everything seemed lost, a stray sword gleams on the ground. While the earth rumbles, the boss arrives for the final blow. Sung Woo takes a deep breath and sends the last pile of bones on a suicide mission. One of the skeletons gets crushed instantly, while the other leaps up and stylishly catches the floating sword in midair. The boss is too fast, the blow is missing. But wait, the skeleton has a sword in its hand now. And boom! Weapon synergy activated. The gun feels light as a feather as the attack speed increases. On top of that, the single-arm warrior effect activates, things are heating up. The chance of bleeding jumps to 88% on the first hit. Ours can smell victory with these upgrades. Grabbing a nearby chair, he dives in alongside Jisoo and the skeleton with everything he's got. They smash a chair over his head to create an opening, but the boss hits the ground so hard everything goes crazy. As the explosion blows them all away, Hanhonu's sneaky dagger strikes the boss. Sung Woo sees the chance and gives his one-armed skeleton that painful order. Sacrifice yourself and finish the job. It's time to say goodbye to the skeleton, the secret hero of the war. But wait, something shocking is happening. The skeleton knife stabs and triggers bleeding. The boss goes down right as you get that sweet level up notification. Our bag of bones is sucking up all the boss's essence to level up. What a scene. The skeleton is now a level 2 commander. The rest of the team is also leveling up with the XP dropped by the boss. While they compare cards, ours chooses the ability to make weapons from bones. It's a total madman's job. Limits for weapons for now. Quality also depends on the strength of the bone used. Now that the boss is pushing up daisies. Special mission completed. As a reward, the ability to summon more skeleton minions is in the bag. While the destiny part of the mission is still a mystery, a hoodie drops from the sky. His friend snatches the stuff right away. It increases the chance of hiding from monsters by 50%. Perfect for cowards. Jisoo drops fire whetstones. His sword's gonna turn into a literal flamethrower now. Song-woo tells them to stop showing off and keep moving, postponing the test for later. The losers left in the cafe are in panic mode. Even that guy with the glasses is starting to wonder. While we're wondering if we should have fought them too, the bully Jin-suk starts snapping at the kids. Anyone complaining can get out. He's spreading poison like a lunatic, so you'll jump off the roof and die. The students are finally snapping. Because Song-woo was the only real man protecting them. Losing control, Jin-suk started swearing. He's dead, you idiots. Now he's acting like he's your boss. Right then, a skeleton army appears and blows your mind. Our guy shows up at the door with that look of a lion killing its prey. The entire team turns back just as they open the exit in one go, ready to leave the campus. Song-woo gives Jin-suka that famous look. The guy is looking for purple. The loser can't even make a sound. Whispers rising from behind. He was strutting around acting like a leader. Turns out he's a fraud, the coward. Our crew skips the drama and makes a cool exit from the building with their skeleton buddies. After checking the area, Song-woo spots a secret passage and signals to follow him. The view gets scarier as we go. Bodies with heads blown off and weapons scattered everywhere. Our necromancer is running the analysis. This is the work of goblins. I wonder if those little creatures are still around? Han-ho suddenly points to some dark figures ahead and says excitedly, "Those are people!" They're closing in on the group, but things look bad. Everyone on the other side is armed to the teeth. It looks like they made it out of that monster hell in one piece. In-suk grins like he's seen a savior and walks toward a guy named Dae-sung. The guy opposite knows him too, but he looks surprised that he's alive. As the two dive into a deep conversation, Jisoo's face sours. Clearly, she already knows what kind of man he is. Jisoo and Han-ho notice these two whispering and are certain they're gossiping about Song-woo. Our main character doesn't even care, of course. The guy is standing there, smiling like a total Sigma. Dae-sung introduces himself to the group as the student council president, acting like he's saving the world while talking about how much everyone is suffering. He says they must unite if they want to survive. Then she points her finger at that horrible pile of bones and asks. Ours is quite calm. It says these skeletons are part of an ability card. The council president is trying to muddy the waters, asking in a disgusting tone why she chose creatures that kill people. Song-woo quickly realizes the man is trying to make him look like a dangerous psychopath. Dae-sung's blabbing that if he wants to join their supreme group, he has to destroy all those skeletons. Slightly annoyed, our boy asks what will happen if he refuses. With a theatrical flair, the council president raises his hand and asks if you really want to welcome these freaky bags of bones into your midst. Han-ho was annoyed at being called a freak, and looking at the skeletons gives him the creeps, but he can't deny he finds them cute. Song-woo explains step by step that the skeletons are his class skill and if they're destroyed, he'll be defenseless. He emphasizes that survival in this fierce new world requires protection, and skeletons are perfect for the job. Dae-sung smirks boldly, claiming he needn't worry because the council will protect him, then asks one last time. Are you joining our group or not? Hearing this nonsense, Jisoo loses his temper, draws his sword, and lunges forward. She says they don't even want to join their loser group and rubs in his face that being on the student council won't save him when the world ends. Dae-sung looks down at the girl and asks if she's a P major. With a mocking smile, the girl says it doesn't matter what department he's in anymore because the university has been leveled. Adam still wants them to calm down and think about the offer. This attitude makes her even crazier. She shouts in public about how the man embezzled student funds with fake checks during a festival, and that she was the one who exposed him on the university website. Hit by this blow, the president finally tells them to get the hell out. As the group turns and leaves, he shouts after them, saying they'll regret rejecting the synergy effect. Look at this man, capable of raising an army all by himself. It talks about synergy. After moving away from the council members, Sung-woo turns to Jisoo and asks if she has a personal problem with Dae-sung. The girl's explaining that the man is just a bully who hits on and harasses girls. Han-ho starts grumbling after hearing that the council president is a total scumbag. The girl suggests they should focus on leaving the campus for now. They should also avoid crowded places, because monsters might be hunting large groups like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Sung-woo thinks for a second and suggests using the path on the hill road. It leads to the main gate and stays away from people. The team starts climbing long wooden ladders as the skeletons scan the surroundings ahead. It's a bit too quiet around here, not a good sign. Suddenly, Sung-woo raises his hand and freezes everyone. At the top of the stairs, a massive orc stands over fresh corpses. This orc monster is even bigger and scarier than the goblin boss. Ours realizes this is a new wave of monsters. The monster slams its axe down without warning and charges at them like the wind. Our main character is so used to slaying monsters now that devious smile appears on his face. He sees this as an opportunity to collect new skeletons. The orc dives right into the skeletons and shatters them in a single hit. After dealing with the piles of bones, he turns his attention to Jisoo, who is waving his sword clumsily. The orc's axe clashes with the girl's sword, the weight of the blow nearly crushing her. As the monster raises its axe for a second strike, one of Sung-woo's skeletons sacrifices itself, saving Jisoo at the cost of being shattered. Our guy Orca knows he can't let him get close, so he immediately orders another skeleton. A one-armed skeleton lunges in front of Orcan. While trying to hit the monster, the skeleton dodges with a master move and lands a blow on Orcan's shoulder. Sung-woo shouts to Jisoo that they can't fight on the stairs and must move to flat ground. Man, she looks pissed that Orcan just cut through her defense like butter. As they're being pulled up, the main group is told by Orca not to get too close. The orc recovers from the blow and starts climbing the stairs. Meanwhile, the group heads toward the woods to restrict the monster's movements. Sung-woo turns to Jisoo and says he'll use the skeletons as bait to execute his plan, since there are plenty of corpses around. A total tactical genius. Our mana-stingy hero is focused solely on preserving his magic power. Tearing through the forest, the green giant is chasing them down, ignoring every tree in its path. Finally surrounded, the orc falls right into the trap. Sung-woo orders an attack on the bone bags. At that same second, our coward Kan-ho desperately flings his dagger at the monster. The skeleton crew joins the party, throwing whatever they can find at orc. Two sneaky skeletons use the blind spots to leap onto the monster. But the orc isn't as stupid as expected. He nails them both at once. Surprisingly, these piles of bone grip the beast's arms like a vice and won't let go. With arms locked, the main character and Jisoo charge forward with swords in hand, defying death. The orc moves to crush Jisoo, but our girl dodges as if she's dancing. Slipping under the giant arm, Jisoo ruthlessly drives her sword into the orc's kneecap. The green monster collapses onto one knee in pain. Right then, Sung-woo takes the chance and severs Orcan's right arm from his body. The loyal skeleton soldier, with only one arm left, leaps into the air and delivers that final blow. The glowing window appearing before Sung-woo announces he earned 116 points for defeating the orc patrol leader. Turns out our guys took down the orc's big boss without even realizing it. This surprise victory shocks even our hero. Jisoo says this boss isn't as tough as the others they've cut down before. Sung-woo approaches the body and tries to sound that classic wake-up call. But it's throwing in your face that the damned system level is insufficient to handle mid-tier monsters. He has no choice but to settle for summoning ordinary skeletons. And asks Jisoo which card she chose. Our daughter says she chose the 3-star Tiger Hunter card just because she liked the color. A total monument of logic. With full mana, our hero decides to try out his new toys. Using the ability to craft bone weapons, he produces a low-quality sword, mace, spear, and arrow. Each of these makeshift weapons can be sold for gold. He is surprised to notice the axe in his hand is light as a feather. He throws the axe at one of the skeletons. And he gives each of them a new toy. This generosity activates several weapon synergy buffs on the skeletons. He's lending one of the swords to Han-ho, but I'll take it back later. And he doesn't forget to say don't get your hopes up. The group begins to descend the stairs into the darkness. On the way, Han-ho senses something strange again. Before them stands a sealed purple door with a chilling message that freezes the blood. If the boss isn't defeated in 8 minutes, all monsters' power will double. Our hero is fuming because he's facing this nonsense for the second time. As they're cursing their luck, another warning window pops up at the same time. They learn that orc units have scouting parties out, catching the scent of large human groups. Jisoo realizes that the larger the group's size, the more the number of enemies will increase. So joining a large crowd is equivalent to committing suicide in this scenario. At that moment, an orc comes to hunt the poor student council team. Jisoo and Han-ho hear painful screams coming from outside the building. Sung-woo breathes a sigh of relief that they didn't join that stupid time limit. The trio learns the hard way that being in a crowd doesn't always mean survival. A new notification signals that the first orc wave has begun. Our lot managed to get 5 savage orcs in total. Seeing the approaching green menace, Han-ho begins to tremble and asks our hero if he has a plan. After a brief pause, Sung-woo gives a sly smile, revealing the mischief on his mind. He plans to set a deadly trap using the nearby cars and skeletons. As the orcs come down the road, they see Han-ho perched on top of a car. Our guy is literally begging for death, screaming, "Pigs!" at the monsters. Furious orcs start running towards him. Just as they think they've caught them, a car door suddenly opens and throws them off balance. That's exactly when Sung-woo and Jisoo take the stage. As our girl draws her sword, our hero sends the Bone Army in ambush to attack. Skeletons surround the stunned orcs from all sides, giving them no room to breathe. After the slaughter ends, that sweet system notification declaring their victory appears. Sung-woo clears the first wave, earns 100 gold, and reaches level 4. Even though his mana level is still rock bottom, he realizes he can now command a total of 7 slaves. Meanwhile, Han-ho is celebrating like a kid with his newly acquired quick cut skill. Sung-woo's asking Jisoo what she won. Our girl explains that she chose power. Her power increased by 2 points, and she feels a fiery heat within her. Our hero wants the heirloom sword back from Han-ho, and summons 2 more skeletons to prepare for the coming disaster. He hands the sword to the skeleton waiting like a loyal soldier. As they try to leave the area, they see the entire city has turned into a den of chaos. As they walk, Sung-woo suddenly raises his fist, signaling them to stop. Up ahead, a group of orcs, a bus with people inside. He's trying to pop it open like a tin can and kill everyone. Hiding behind the tree, the trio counts a total of 7 orcs. A brave man inside the bus. He tries to resist with a spear in his hand, but he's not strong enough. Our hero knows they'll all end up 6 feet under at this rate. Watching 2 orcs attack with their axes raised, Jisoo says they must help them. The plan is simple. They will attack with the spearmen from one side and from the other. But Sung-woo doubts if that spearman is brave enough to take on the orcs. He says it would be foolish to trust strangers in this hell. Right then, he points at a truck and puts his devious plan into action, saying, "Watch how we're going to teach those orcs a lesson." The so-called comfort of civilization lies in complete ruins. Inside the bus, a blond guy with a sword and shield is yelling at the top of his lungs at some spearman coward. While questioning why he didn't hit the orcs, Kyung-soo fumes and shouts that the man should attack them with his own shield and sword. The passengers were trembling with fear, sweating with mortality. They all think they're about to die. Just as they thought it was all over, the orcs stopped punching the bus and turned toward the sound of a fast-approaching car. The metal beast charges into the orcs, and 2 green giants fly into the air like ragdolls from the impact. The people on the bus are speechless. Their brains are struggling to process this sight. The skeleton army jumping from the truck bed descends on the orcs like a nightmare. The irony is, one of the cowards inside is more afraid of these piles of bones saving them than the orcs trying to eat them. After the skeletons, which he finds even scarier than orcs, clear the area, the bus passengers wonder if the danger has passed. Just then, a grinning skull appears in the window. The spearman drops his weapon in terror and collapses to the ground, screaming for the skeleton to perish as he crawls on the ground. Han-ho, meanwhile, calmly knocks on the door and signals the frozen man to open it. Adam sees them all right, but he's so terrified of that bag of bones that he just can't bring himself to open the door. Tell them they're human all you want, but it's no use. After clearing out the orcs, our group leaves this pack of cowards behind and continues on. The scene turns to Han-ho. Ours is lowering the sofa he's holding to a vending machine. When Sung looks on, eyes asking the reason for this vandalism, the situation becomes clear. Han-ho grins and winks, showing he's broke but craving a soda, so he's trying to talk the machine into it. The blonde guy who was just rescued approaches Han-ho to buy him a Coke, but notices the machine is already dead. Our main character, scratching his head, distracts the group and gets back to the main point. He points to a strange machine and asks if it dispenses items. Kuyong shakes his head, explaining they could only try it once because of their poverty. Then his eyes catch an old TV with a sign saying, "Take it if you need it, it's yours." It implies following instructions could earn them an item. And suddenly, that pile of junk shows signs of life. The screen flashes, welcoming everyone to the E-Class store. Without wasting any time, Sung-woo touches the screen and starts scrolling through the menu. This store offers 3 levels of gambling. Reward tiers, bronze, silver, and gold, for those who trust their luck. E-Class stores sell items up to gold rank. While ours looks at the vitrine, Han-ho and Jisoo doubt if this system actually works. Sung-woo says they won't know until they try. While Han-honen has about 360 gold in his pocket, Jisoo has 584 gold. But our boy's literally swimming in wealth with exactly 1,552 gold coins. It can even spin the silver roulette. Plus, he has an unlimited rank roulette ticket that lets him pick items of any rank he wants. While Han-ho watches in shock, our guy goes all in and picks the gold roulette. Luck is on his side as the wheel spins and lands on the grand prize. A blue sphere passes into her hand. This legendary class item, Tear of the Sea Spirit, increases mana by 300 and boosts mana regeneration by a massive 200%. Perfect for our necromancers who constantly run out of mana. He's diving into the silver roulette right after the gold one. This time, he grabs the second place prize and gets a solid shield. Jisoo takes second place and snags the scout leader talent. But our poor Han-ho settles for third place, left with only a few potions in his hand. With disappointment written all over his face, Sung-woo consoles him, saying those potions could save lives. Jisoo reminds us that the chaos on the sports field is still going on. They need to go over there and help. Han-ho turns to the protagonist and asks if they will use the same tactic again. With a devious smile, our guy looks at the truck, hinting that he has a much bigger and more destructive plan in mind. Elsewhere, the student council group is screaming for help as they're attacked by orcs. Dae-sung gathers everyone, forms a defense line with his sword, and orders them to take an escape position. Someone from the group reports those trapped in the stands, but Dae-sung says they have no time for others and leaves them to die. He's pushing the shield bearers forward to clear the way. Right then, the group spots a bus coming up behind the orcs. As the bus ruthlessly crushes the orcs, the man at the wheel laughs like a lunatic from an asylum. After the orcs were minced, Han hangs out that window and shouts for everyone to get on. The players outside learn the hard way that they should have followed our guys from the start instead of staying behind. Jisoo jumps off the bus and comes face to face with an orc. He's determined to stop at nothing to avenge the past. As the orc tries to attack him, he blocks the blow with his sword and doesn't even get pushed back this time. With his flaming sword, he takes down the orc in one move. Looking back in excitement, he sees Sung-woo and the skeleton army have already cleared the remaining orcs. Watching in awe as Sung-woo uses that brilliant strategy to wipe out the orcs while keeping his distance. He feels a bit stupid because he put all his points into brute force just to defeat the orcs. While Sung-woo keeps mowing down orcs, Jisoo is dying to know what this guy did for a living before the apocalypse. With the orc corpses at his feet still warm, our hero glares at the devious Dae-sung, demanding to know what he's doing here. Dae-sung tries to smirk with his usual slipperiness, asking if he's holding a grudge as if trying to break the ice. But it's not funny at all. With eyes glowing with rage, our protagonist confronts him about how he left people to die and ran away. Our coward rabbit made up the tactical retreat lie, but everyone on the bus knows exactly who he is. No one's buying his story. Right in the middle of this tension, a Crimson System notification pops up, stating the orc chief is fuming with rage. Our main character seizes the bus and tells that scumbag Dae-sung he can only enter if he obeys his orders. And his first order is a total robbery. He wants that flashy armor you're wearing. Dae-sung starts whining, saying he's nothing without his armor. With a wicked smile, Sung-woo implies he no longer needs that hunk of junk now that he's under his protection. The moment they move, that sweet level-up sound rings in their ears, finally reaching the power of level 5. This new power means he can wrap even mid-sized monsters around his finger. Another notification brings good news: your army capacity has increased. Proud of his personal army of 9 monsters, he feels a movement behind him and suddenly looks back over his shoulder. The scene he sees is a total comedy. One of the skeletons is wearing armor lifted from Dae-sung and can't even move from the weight. Recalling its performance in past wars, he realizes this pile of bones is smarter and more reliable than the others. Taking a deep breath, he orders the skeleton to undress. The poor bag of bones puts the chainmail over his white t-shirt while looking with sad eyes. Right then, Han-ho bursts in, pointing at the crowd behind him, saying if they're gonna keep playing hero, they'll need a new bus. But our protagonist's patience has run out. He states they won't do rescue ops anymore and survival is now the priority. Taking his loyal sidekicks along as he walks toward the crowd, he grabs the handrails of the swaying bus and shouts the bitter truth to the people. You have to fight. Right then, an ominous window in the sky declares the orc boss has begun his global destruction, meaning escape is impossible. Though Sung-woo scans the crowd with eyes full of hope, he reminds them that according to the rules of the game, they cannot hide forever, they will be hunted. The only key to survival is taking down that damn boss. Right then, a guy in a tracksuit with bandaged fingers raises his hand and interrupts. He's describing the horrifying scene he saw at the gym. When I say there are at least 100 crazed orcs inside, the crowd's blood runs cold. Following this horrific confession, the system cites teamwork failure and begins issuing one penalty after another. 3 new disaster notifications appear. The first penalty is a real slap in the face. Since at least 10 players are under level 5, everyone's movement and attack speeds are capped. The second notification is even more brutal. Because of all those idiots who haven't killed any monsters, their attack power and gold gains are being reduced. The third blow comes from the cowardice of the crowd. The potential for confusion is hitting the roof. It's absolute chaos. Sung-woo takes a deep breath and weighs the situation. Even if he has the power to destroy the orc army, he realizes it's impossible with these burdens. And he drops the bombshell. With the crowd watching in shock, he declares he will take on that massive army alone. Knowing that cowards forced to hold a gun can never be warriors, he refuses to back down despite the objections around him. While people look at him like he's lost his mind, he remains stone-cold calm. The sneaky types on the student council are smirking, whispering that this madness is a perfect chance to get rid of him. While Jisa looks out the window, calling him an idiot and saying he'll definitely die, she's actually anxiously trying to talk him out of this suicide mission. But Sung-woo reminds him of his logical words from the first floor. It hits him in the face that staying with the weak only hastens death. Since his bone army is far stronger than the trembling people on the bus, there's no point in dragging anyone along. Even though Jisa knows his plans usually work perfectly, she can't help but think this time the risk is fatal. As Sung-woo steps into the death arena with his loyal skeletons behind him, everyone in the university building holds their breath while watching him. His friends stay alert at a safe distance from the bus, ready to step in if things go south. Our hero freezes in the middle of the field as enemy silhouettes begin to emerge one by one from the darkness. The orcs storm the field with fierce roars, charging straight at you with a deadly sprint without any warning. Since the system didn't send a special warning, he realizes this giant red orc is just a mid-boss, basically a snack. He retreats toward the stands, pushing his minions forward and slamming his shield so hard the screech of metal echoes. He takes a strategic position at the top of the stairs, bracing for the flood of orcs coming from below. As the skeletons raise their daggers for battle, our main character activates his berserker skill and buffs them all. Instead of closing in and getting crushed, these skeletons switch to ranged attacks and rain down daggers like bullets. A few orcs are down by this rain of death, but that damn boss manages to parry the attacks. Things are getting tough. Seeing that ranged attacks aren't working, our hero panics slightly and changes strategy, ordering a charge and sending the bone army to their deaths. This plan is a suicide mission. Those piles of bones snap like toothpicks against an orc boss. Our bag of bones best man watches the whole thing, his eyes blazing with fury. The spear sticks to the head of the impatient bone pile, and he says, "Wait, big guy." The orcs, smashing poor skeletons to dust, grin nastily in their drunken victory. But he who laughs last laughs best. But what about that? Those filthy grins freeze with a savage blow to the back of their necks. What appeared behind them was none other than a foul undead orc warrior, now turned into Sungju's puppet. And that famous blue screen appears. Team play bonus kicks in, system says let the show begin. Activating the level 1 synergy effect. Our hero unlocks a weapon synergy triggered by at least 5 axes. This insane power surge is hitting peak attack and speed, and things are about to turn into a bloodbath. In the first 10 seconds of the war, the living orcs won't know what hit them. Because these zombie clones they face either bleed nor tire. They're total killing machines. Sung Woo, perched at the top of the stairs with his loyal bone companion Sadik, watches the chaos below with the pride of a father. As his zombie army slaughters everything in its path, students pressed against the glass are speechless and in total shock at the carnage before their eyes. Because that kid they think is just a regular college student is mowing down an entire army by himself. Behind those green creatures trembling with fear, Jisoo is also among those watching this bloody recital. With Hano and the bus driver locked in this frantic struggle, Jisoo's eyes are bulging as that final conversation with Sung Woo echoes in her mind. Our girl is just now realizing this kid calculates every move in advance like a chess master. Ours, however, is having a blast while checking out the system that shows the mana level. As the meaning grows, a sadistic joy swells within him. Could this be the power of a legendary item? He thinks to himself, looking at those ominous skulls floating over the battlefield, when another notification pops up. The system smells of death here, announcing that the orcs have weakened and been debuffed under this heavy pressure. With their stats tanking by 30%, the cowardly orcs are starting to bolt. But what about that? That brute who must be their leader takes over with a roar. This beastly roar acts as a morale boost, firing up the cowardly herd and cutting the curse's effect on them in half. Fired up, the orcs return with wild screams, as if thirsty for death. Of course, someone's stinking zombie squad is rubbing their hands together to greet them. Our bag of bones, Sadik, takes a stylish leap over the fence and dives into the heart of battle to support his undead buddies. Drawing his sword mid-run, Julian starts hacking through the greenskins in his path like a total butcher. Under Sungwoo's command, the skeleton and zombie coalition crushes the enemy. Once the smoke clears, our guy slumps on the stairs and lets out a deep breath, like, "What a day!" Suddenly, a new system window flashes on his face. Since he sent 100 monsters to the afterlife, the system cuts him some slack and gives him a lottery ticket. This means a chance to raise that achievement status to infinite level. He goes down in history as the 21st crazy player to earn this honor. So that means there are 20 more psychopaths in this world who act faster than him. Just as he thinks of this, the familiar engine sound reaches his ears. The bus. Someone's trying to hijack the bus and get away, but it's no use. Dummies, they're crashing into that weird pink wall and getting trapped. Seeing the student council president Sung Woo and his lackeys surrounded by orcs, he fumes with anger, as if thinking, "Not again." These fools, caught trying to escape on the bus, are now screaming for help. Ours is just face-palming and praying for patience in the face of this stupidity. Plans are ruined because of these brainless fools who ignored orders and caused a mess. Even so, he's forced to act and play the hero. The other students get hyped and follow suit. Actually, he prefers to be left alone, but he lets them come along as long as they don't get in his way. The only condition is that they don't block the skeleton army. Entering the building with 2 zombie orc guards, they're met with the sight of goblin corpses hanging from the ceiling. Their taste in decoration is disgusting. The inside of the building is like a house of horrors. That ominous glow gliding through the smoke freezes the group. Something is approaching. A freak with glowing eyes appears. Sung Woo grips the shovel tight, sizing them up to see if it's a boss, a big shot, or just some lord coming his way. Everyone hold tight, the orc boss is coming. It's flashing a warning. The hostages in the corner are pretty beat up. Face is all messed up. They're covered in blood. Luckily, no one's kicked the bucket yet. That's good news. But Sung Woo is surprised. These green-brained creatures aren't smart enough to take hostages. The orcs using strategy makes him suspicious. Meanwhile, the student council members stare at him, snot dripping, begging for mercy. The way he looks at them, they just freeze. It's all the result of your own stupidity. You made your bed, now lie in it. They didn't just doom themselves, they dragged innocent people into the fire too. Since the monster won't listen to reason, Sung Woo goes all in without showing a single sign of weakness. The slightest mistake leads to death. The plan is to stun the orcs with a surprise attack and save that foolish group. But right at that moment, something unexpected happens. One of the orcs swings his axe and takes the student council president's head clean off. Blood is gushing out. The head is rolling on the ground. Everyone's left speechless by this brutality, and the shockwaves just won't stop. The real big shot, the true orc boss, steps onto the rooftop. This guy is muttering a weird spell and making everyone feel heavy. People's knees are giving out. The system admin is bombarding Suyu with alerts. You got high on the breath of the void, girl. It gets stunned by the warning. As his mana is drained like water, the orc boss completes his grand and terrifying entrance. This creature isn't just a hunk of muscle. Basically a dark wizard shaman. Han-ho struggles to open a potion bottle with his hands shaking uncontrollably from fear. After chugging it down and refreshing his soul, our innocent lover hands the bottle to Sung Woo as if saying, "God, you drink too, brother." But Sung Woo snaps at him, saying to give it to the girl instead of him. As for him, he inhales that pitch-black meaning floating in the air, says, it's good to be alive, and draws strength from that foul energy. Just then, a new warning on the system screen suggests things are about to get even worse. Breath of nothingness. Mana reserves have officially gone through the roof. The capacity has even exceeded 4,000. Now I see why our boy is so confident. The system is whispering in your ear. Since the ABI's breath has accumulated, the initial awakening's effects are temporarily surging through his veins. This boosts their stats to the sky and multiplies the number of sacrifices, monsters, they can summon. As he paces forward, he is lit only by the sinister glow of his own meaning. The guy is straight out of a nightmare. You go ahead and use dark magic on a necromancer. Ours walks up to the boss with that psycho grin on his face and asks what the hell he did. The boss's brain is fried, of course. He didn't expect such craziness. Jisa is chasing after someone like a fool. And then he says we should all dive in together, just like on the roof. Sung Woo lets out that chilling laugh of his once again. With his body glowing as if it's about to burst, he says, "The old world is over, kid." And hop, the bodies start flying through the air. Poor Han will stare in shock as if his eyes were popping out, watching the corpses on the roof come alive like they're dancing. As synergy boost notifications rain from the system, Sung Woo transcends humanity and turns into a total monster. He wants the boss to feel the cold breath of death on his neck. The orc shaman, panicking, tears the skeleton warriors to pieces. But the system intervenes. Turns out there's a lifetime warranty for bringing these bags of bones back to life. Shaman Gari. No matter how many this kills. Ours just sleeps and wakes. It instantly removes it with his command. It's like the game is broken, man. The orc shaman is collapsing from exhaustion. He looks at Sung Woo standing before him. But what he sees is no longer a human, but pure terror. Our boy accidentally turned into the final boss. Is it good? Shaman, do you realize who you're dancing with? He asks. At that moment, his shining eyes pierce the creature's soul and show it the true face of death. The shaman lets out a high-pitched scream in terror. He doesn't know how to defeat this monster. And he tries to escape. But in vain. The skeleton army has already surrounded you. Sung Woo, there's no escaping death, my boy. He's mocking her, saying don't be stupid. The poor shaman dies screaming among the piles of bones jumping on him. He's trying to resist, but it's no use. Superior numbers show no mercy. Finally, our right-hand man delivers the final blow and ends the man's suffering. When Sung Woo sends the little dark wizard to the afterlife, he pockets exactly 1,055 gold. After the orc chief dies, his right hand absorbs his mana and ranks up. Sung Woo also grasps the importance of farming minions. He's checking the minion list. You have exactly 33 skeletons at your command. One of them is a level 3 senior. It's not just talk. Just as I'm getting into the mood, Manhwa calls and says something's coming out of the boss monster's mouth. Ours takes a quick look. What is that? An object. The description says it gives the user demonic attributes. It's not safe at all. They say once I put it on, a sacrifice is needed to take it off. Just our kind of thing. What does demonic attribute mean? He doesn't quite get it either. Anyway, I'm already a necromancer. Thinking it'll lead to the same result, he gears up and gains demonic powers. It has a feature that steals the enemy's mana upon hitting. Boom, right in the kisser. When the orc shaman's mana runs out, all the skeletons crumble to dust. Once things calm down, the group returns to the students. The people are celebrating with roaring applause. Our hero. They're hyping him up, but Sung-Jin has a bad feeling about this. He doesn't even care. This man doesn't even need people. If he wants to survive, he needs to get rid of the crowd, the dead weight. When the boss bites the dust, the seal finally breaks. The exit doors creak open. The students look at each other, wondering if they're finally out of this hole, and discuss their next move. Some say let's stick with Sung-Jin. He thinks only this maniac can protect us. Because he's the safest harbor. Manhwa looks at his phone and says, "The world's on fire, man." He looks pale as a ghost. Turns out it's the same chaos everywhere. Poor guy, he's worried about his family. Hearing this, he thinks of his own family and gets sentimental. Suddenly a bus pulls up in front of them. Kyungsa says jump behind the wheel, folks. He was a driver in the army, he knows the way to the base. He says he's taking the bus back to the base. Sung-Jin smiles craftily. He tells a huge lie, saying his house is just right there so you guys should go. Kyungsa is calling the others too. Turns out they brought 2 buses to pick everyone up. Well done. Everyone's piling onto the buses except for our trio. The guy says goodbye and hits the gas. He's leaving without even looking back. When the crowd leaves, Manhwa asks, "Where to now?" He turns to Jisoo and asks, "Where's your house?" The poor girl's family is on the island. She stays at the dorm. She's clinging to him, asking if she can come along too. "I won't be much help," he adds. He says, "Come on, Sung-Jin, make yourself useful." Manhwa is jumping in, asking if I should come too. Ours is in full troll mode, says you gotta cut your arm off first and be a one-armed warrior like a right-hand man. While having a blast, Jisoo suddenly pins both of them to the ground. Something's going wrong, they've been ambushed. As the pair glided down, the sky suddenly darkened and a massive dragon soared over them. They stared at the terrifying creature. What kind of monster is this? Just then, the bus came to a sudden halt. Kyungsa noticed the pack of dragons tailing them. Someone yells from the back, "Drive it, man!" But it's no use. The driver is saying the exact opposite. Moving now would be suicide. Dragons only go after moving prey, like buses. But there's no escape. The system's already sent a terrible notification. The boss monster Alpha Wyvern has entered the stage. Seconds later, the dragon landed on top of the bus. It lifted the vehicle up and tore it apart like paper. Sung-Woo looked at the view and accepted the bitter truth. He was too weak for this world. But this won't end like this. He has to get stronger. Jisuya turned around and said that iconic line. "No more running from monsters. We're going to hunt them." The poor girl is confused, of course. He's looking like, "What's this crazy guy saying?" Sung-Woo clarified the situation. They can't survive by just trying to adapt to the situation. This passivity will kill them. If they keep this up, they'll just go from being an easy target to a slightly tougher one, that's all. There's only one rule for survival. Dominating monsters. He clenched his fist in rage, and the team marched toward a group of orcs. They came face to face with the orcs when the system sent that notification like some kind of joke. Training complete. If this is just training, I don't even want to think about how brutal the actual game will be. And the hunt has begun. Sung-Woo unleashed the skeleton army and surrounded the minions. The goblins are fleeing in panic, but their exits have already been blocked. The skeletons continued to ruthlessly mow down the creatures fleeing for their lives. Every kill turns into a shower of gold for our main character. Once the area was cleared, that sweet level-up sound rang out. Manhwa came out of his hiding spot with an annoying smirk on his face. He acts like he's the one who handled it all. Our guy took a deep breath and hit him with the truth. These are just snacks. Killing goblins won't make you a legend. This won't do them any good. He glanced at the stat cards and chose strength without hesitation. The moment he confirmed the power card, that change in his body, that wave of might could be felt. As the skeleton army continued to clear the remaining goblins, gold kept flowing into the treasury. When he went outside, he found Jisoo standing there with her bloody knife. The girl smiles proudly and says, "I took down exactly 9. He literally committed a massacre on his own." Sung Woo turned to Manhwa and treated him like a typical porter. "Pick up the daggers on the ground." They stowed the loot from the goblins into the item box and set off. Sung Woo announced a new rule to the team. No more wasting time with goblins. We ignore them. Jisoo excitedly asked if they would be hunting stronger monsters. Sung Woo explained the logic. Goblins are wretched 16 gold creatures, but a single orc is worth 80 gold. Still, his main goal is to find a larger herd that will make them a fortune. They kept walking through the desolation of deserted roads. Suddenly, Hanho noticed some military trucks in the distance. The fronts of the trucks were filled with soldiers, turned into piles of corpses. The view got even weirder as we approached. These soldiers didn't have guns, they had common shovels in their hands. Just then, a soldier with a shovel jumped out of one of the trucks. It trembles, asking if you are human. The poor guy's gonna be scared out of his wits when he sees the skeletons behind him. Sung Woo waved with his most reassuring smile. "Calm down, man, we're human too," he said. The soldier called out inside immediately. He told his sergeant there were survivors outside. Our guy went to talk to the sergeant through the window. The sergeant is in a mess. He says he's sorry, but he can't make it out. His leg is bandaged. Turns out our trained soldier got shanked by a goblin. The sergeant confessed in shame. It hurt his pride to be left in this state by a creature no bigger than a child. Yet somehow they survived. Sung Woo is confused. He asked the man, "Why don't you have your weapons?" The sergeant revealed the bitter truth. They're not firing. It's not a mechanical issue. The moment the monsters arrived, all firearms became useless. It had stopped working. They had to revert to medieval-style combat with oars and swords. Pitiful state of the sergeant. Han-ho spoke with his usual innocence, and whispered that they actually had a potion. The moment Kim saw the bottle, she pressed against the glass. He's asking with pleading eyes. Sung Woo turned his head away immediately. Like they're in, "We can't just give out resources for free" mode. They can't be a charity when their own survival hangs by a thread. Hearing this, the sergeant poked his head out and said he could provide information. He offered to tell everything he had seen and heard until then. Our guy thought for a moment. He said, "Let's see the goods first. If the info is useful, we'll see," and told me to explain. The sergeant spilled the horrific details. Wolves the size of bulls are roaming outside. An entire army couldn't even take down a single wolf. They were left in ruins. And the strangest part is, there was a QR code. He's seen 2 so far. One's at the station, the other's at the Metro Transfer Center. The sergeant took out his phone and said, "Scan the codes." The world's ending, yet it says the app is still downloading. It's like a joke. It's the only way to communicate with other survivors. Because everything else is completely trashed. Thinking of the survivor community, Sung Woo passes the healing elixir to the man as if it's their last hope. The sergeant is asking where they're going and says they'll join his unit. And ours is questioning whether it's safe there, of course. Who's explaining why when the monsters first appeared, the superiors took the guns and told them to fight with shovels? It feels like a joke, but it's not. But poor guy, he hopes they've learned their lesson by now. Our main character says that their destination is actually somewhere else. As Kim prepares to leave, she warns him about the creatures in the sky. The sergeant starts to sweat bullets. Because he learns that giant dragons are roaming the skies. When their paths split, our guy moves on with his friends and his loyal skeleton army. When they arrive at the station, the first thing they see is a QR code. Before installing the app, Han-ho anxiously asks if this code will infect the phone with a virus. The world is ending. Look at this guy worrying about a virus. Luckily, the app has a message board and news feed for players to trade info. The game's administrator shares the updates here as well. Looking at what the admin wrote, Sung-woo wonders who is behind this setup. Then he glances at the still empty message board. Jisoo says it costs exactly 1,000 gold to write something here. Suddenly, a new post drops from player 4884. They're announcing they've set up a safe zone in the H apartment complex in Hwaseong City. There are 2 comments under the post. It's from another gullible player asking how to reach the group. Seeing the address, Hanho says it's very close to his own house. Sungwoo's also wondering if we should go there. Plus, he's stuck on how this guy spent 1,000 gold so easily. While they struggled to even reach level 6, the other group has already hit level 8. As you stare at the screen, a voice inside tells you something's fishy. Still, he needs to find high-level survivors. So he keeps walking toward the mentioned address. Suddenly, a notification sounds on his phone. Noticing a deleted comment. The player is asking why their comment was deleted. The OP says they deleted the comment because someone was talking nonsense and being ridiculous. While Ours keeps looking at the phone, this situation really starts to sicken them. Meanwhile, we see another giant grinning with a phone in his hand. He has that disgusting smirk on his face, realizing he's found his next victim. With the sun blazing above, a man desperately tries to protect his daughter from a group of creatures. He only has a baseball bat to scare off the monsters. When he realizes he can't hold them, he screams for help. But the other players are silent. They're all watching from their safe houses as the man becomes bait. When the creatures get close to the man, one of them is riddled with holes by a dagger. Suddenly an immortal orc appears and starts wreaking havoc with his axe. The man watches in shock as Sungwoo's skeleton army rushes to his aid. At the last second, our guy reaches out to the man and says he's safe now. With a trembling voice, the man says his house is nearby but they're out of food. The main character opens their bag and gives a few cans. He knows it won't be enough, but it's all he can do for now. The creatures try to escape as the skeleton army surrounds them. As the group chases them toward the stairs, they come across a dungeon sign. Hanho is asking if we should go down and finish up. Before they can take another step, the man they saved stops them and warns them not to enter the basement. He says something much more terrifying than those green runts lies in the basement. Sungwoo looks at the man with a smile and thanks him for the warning. After descending the stairs, they receive a notification that they've entered the ancient slime temple. As the group descends into the basement, they find a dead creature with its head covered in slime. An undying orc destroys the slime in a single swing with an axe. They earn 140 gold per kill. Holding his colorful dagger, Hanho complains that this slimy stuff even melts metal. Ours says it can't digest bones, meaning skeletons are this monster's natural enemy. Hanho hears a sound, turns around, and comes face to face with a massive slime monster. The creature smashes one of the skeletons to pieces in a single hit. Sungwoo realizes that even if this thing can't melt them, it can still crush and trample his enemies. Not to mention the skeleton's attacks. It's useless because of the size and density of the sludge. He quickly makes a plan and starts producing bone weapons. Instead of summoning more skeletons, it starts making weapons from bones and throwing them at the slime. Jisoo throws him a skeleton from afar, which he catches midair and turns into another weapon. While our master plays blacksmith, that slimy pile of phlegm sneaks up and launches a frontal attack. Our main character ruthlessly uses one of the orc soldiers as a human shield. The slime swallows the bait and devours the poor orc into its stomach. Seeing this, our guy lets out an evil grin. That stupid boss creature didn't even notice the skeleton it swallowed was carrying a bag full of bones. With the skill to create weapons, those bones turn into deadly spikes inside, and the slime is torn to pieces, brutally shredded from the inside out. The skeleton gang jumps in, frantically crushing the gooey bits on the ground so the creature can't regenerate. That famous one-armed skeleton steals the last hit again, pocketing exactly 2,255 gold. Patron Sungwoo hates waste. He orders the skeletons to fill those empty bottles with the acidic slime. Maybe we'll need to melt someone down later. While gathering this disgusting mucus, one of the skeletons finds a glowing monster core among the slimy remains. This gadget is used to melt or join objects together. Ours picks it up with a cloth without touching it, questioning if it's a rare material. Hanno suddenly interrupts and nudges Ours to check the comments under that weird post online. Suspicious messages. The other players get suspicious and ask what's going on, but no one gives a straight answer. They just want them to ignore it. When someone mentions the comment of the person who first tried to reach the group, the tension in the room spikes. When asked if they've arrived, player 4884 says no one has reached the venue yet. They say something bad must have happened to them on the road. Hano is extremely suspicious because of these constantly deleted comments. It's clear something fishy's going on. Sung Woo silently analyzes the situation, trying to figure out what that group is actually up